Broadcasting live from the stairs to infinity on the plane of Xerex, this is Tap Tap Concede.
Tap first, and then tap, and then concede.
Exactly. I saw someone do that the other day against Kenji on one of his streams. Someone they had more land than that, but they only tapped 2. Just tap tap concede. It was great. Hey everyone, thanks for listening in again. My name is Graham, and joining me as always is
Kathleen
and
Paul.
But also joining us this week is
Cameron.
Cameron's here.
Yay, Cameron.
James decided that he would
Get stuffed.
Yeah.
No, he had stuff to do.
Well,
That's not
Stuffing was the
that's
stuff
not-
he had to do.
Yeah.
That's not quite the
He
same.
had to go and do some stuffing because it's apparently Thanksgiving.
It's like family stuffing or something weird.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking a little bit about our experiences at GP Calgary, which Paul wasn't there for, but that's fine.
I can make up experiences.
Yes, while we were not shooting Friday nights. Actually, we'll talk about the things not surrounding the production of Friday nights, just the other things we did at the GP. But first,
We
it's
should crack
time
a
to
pack.
crack a pack. Now,
Ooh, wait. Cam, pick a number between 1 and 20.
no. We have a specific pack this time.
Oh, we do.
Oh.
Yes, this was sent to us by a fan by the name of Pete, who sent us a little stack of cards, specifically because they were the cards that he was playing when he first started, when he was first playing the game.
Is the boosters, you mean, not cards?
Yes, sorry, a stack of boosters from when he was first playing the game, and when I believe he's just recently gotten back into it, and so he sent these to us because they are sort of nostalgic to him. So this is a pack of Champions of Kamigawa.
Ooh.
Yes,
Nice.
which was the last time they. It was a big set involving legendary creatures and legendary things, and it was the last time that they changed the legend rule, which is before Kamigawa came out. And so when they changed the legend rule again recently, people were like, "Ooh, Theros must have something to do with legends," and they've said that it will. There will be more legendary creatures than usual, but not as much as Kamigawa, because they kind of overdid it. And it was also enchantment relevant. A lot of auras.
You know, we weren't playing during Kamigawa,
No.
but I remember looking at some of the lore stuff behind it just recently, and very complicated.
Really complicated. It took
Yeah.
me a long time. It took me until Modern Masters to figure out how Splice into Arcane worked.
It's of course their Japan-inspired set with the
Yes.
symbol for Kamigawa being the Torii Gate, which is neat. So, our first card is the Kabuto Moth. It is a 1/2 spirit for 2 and a white with flying, and you can tap Kabuto Moth to give target creature +1/+2 until end of turn. A 1/2 flyer is not amazing for 3, but onboard combat trick seems okay.
Yeah, except he can't do it on himself, of course.
He can if he's blocking.
Yeah.
You can declare him as a blocker and then tap, and he'll turn into a flying Pillarfield Ox.
Right, but he's never going to be a 2/4 attacker.
No, that's just fine. All right, the Hearth Kami. Of course, the Kamis. Each color had a Kami, which just means spirit. But there was a lot of spirits like that. The Kabuto Moth was a spirit. This is also a spirit. The Hearth Kami. It is a 2/1 for 1 and a red, so a piker. So that's fine. You'll play that anyway, right? For X and sacrifice Hearth Kami, destroy target artifact with converted mana cost X.
That's not
Yeah.
bad.
I mean, I think that's one of those ones that like you play just because it's a 2/1, and every once in a while it comes in handy.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's your Torch Fiend equivalent.
Yeah.
It's not like the the guy that comes into play and destroys an artifact. I forget what his name was. The guy with the big smashy club.
Manic Vandal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you're playing this guy just for his
Just for
artifact.
that,
removal.
yeah.
But-
You can play him as a 2/1. He can attack. He's aggressive.
He's fine.
He's incredibly weird looking.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there was some amazing art design in this block.
Yeah. The Kami had fantastic looks to them.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever combined the Kamigawa spirits with like Avacyn stuff that buffs spirits?
I use no, I haven't. I use Kamigawa tokens in my Spirit Commander deck because they have the coolest looking spirits. They're these wood Kami. They don't actually have flying, which the spirits in my Commander deck are supposed to, but they just look awesome. Speaking of Modern Masters, Kathleen, Reach Through Mists.
Oh.
So it's 1 blue for an instant arcane. Draw a card.
Great. Excellent.
Real quick, we should explain what arcane was, because it took me actually until Modern Masters came out to figure out how it worked. And so
Splice and Arcane.
yeah, like that was, well, that's the thing, is that like this being an arcane instant
Is very relevant.
basically doesn't matter unless you're splicing. There's a few cards that are like return target arcane spell from the graveyard, or if you cast an arcane spell, but generally you're looking at splicing. So there's cards that have a cost that like they have an ability, and they're usually instants or sorceries that say splice onto arcane. Like for example, Dampen Thought is one that's in that's in the Kamigawa block, and it's 1 and a blue, and target player mills 4. But for 1 and a blue, you can splice onto arcane. So what that means is if you're casting this, which is an arcane spell, you can splice the other one by revealing it from your hand. So you go, look, I have this, and you pay it splice cost, which is the 1 and a blue, and you add that to this spell.
Yeah, and then
you are not casting an additional spell, and you keep
the card.
you keep the Dampen Thought in your hands. You still have it. So you can cast it again. You can splice it again, or you can cast it again. But that means this spell is now doing all of those things.
It's weird. It's actually like Reach Through Mist seems like it should be the other side. Like it seems like Reach Through Mist is the thing you'd want to splice onto other things.
I think it's because it's cheap, though, right?
Yeah,
like
it's a totally relevant substrate for other
It
effects.
just
Yeah.
well, but that's what
because
I mean.
it
Like
replaces itself.
like it's usually the splice into arcane stuff is like a little bonus that you would add to
not
another
necessarily.
thing.
I think it would be too good if you could just be like
Oh,
splice,
no.
splice.
Draw
Yeah.
a card, draw a card, draw.
I'll
a card.
turn this spell into a cantrip too.
Yeah, that seems like actually that's probably
Because you can
way
actually
OP.
Like Reach Through Mist, Reach Through Mist is just going to take any of your splice and arcane spells and turn it into a cantrip.
now,
for
because
1 mana.
this is probably something that you would know, Cam, because of how many times you drafted Storm in Modern Masters. Can you splice the same spell more than once? Like
Yeah, you can just keep splicing spells onto the same arcane substrate.
yeah. So
Yeah.
like if you cast Reach Through Mists and you have after paying the 1 blue for it, you have say red, blue mana open. You can splice a Glacial Ray twice from the same Glacial Ray in your hand. Right? That's what I mean. Like
Can you?
That's
Actually,
what
I
I'm
don't
asking.
know. I don't think you can.
maybe it seems like you should, but I don't know.
We'll get back to you. We'll look at the
Anyway.
rules and get back to you on that next week.
Serpent Skin. 2 and a green for an enchanted creature. I'm sure this will have been oracled to be an aura. You may play it any time you can play an instant, meaning it has flash. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1, and for 1 green, regenerate enchanted creature. So it's the same cost, making this relevant to, say, M14. This has the same mana cost as Trollhide. This only gives it +1/+1 instead of +2/+2, but it has a cheaper regeneration cost and has flash. So you can sort of use it as a combat trick that sticks around.
The picture is actually very similar to Trollhide too, isn't it?
Well, this
Trollhide
guy.
is the guy with the back.
Well, this guy has serpent skin, and the other guy is getting Trollhide.
Yeah, but
So,
it's like
yeah.
is it the same artist?
No, maybe
It's,
Alright.
it just is
it's Rob Alexander in one of his rare not doing land cards.
All right, next.
Villainous Ogre.
Rar.
He is a 3/2 for 2 and a black. Boy, that's aggressive, especially for black. But he can't block. And as long as you control a demon, Villainous Ogre has, for 1 black, regenerate Villainous Ogre.
I remember in
Villainous.
Kamigawa, the ogres had a lot of synergies with the demon cards, with the Oni.
Right, because these are
Like the demon lord, I assume. Like the demon
Yeah.
is like ruling the ogres, I guess.
Well, the Oni were essentially ogre demons,
Right.
and the Oni had requirements that ogres be in play, and the ogres had requirements that Oni or demons be in play.
Interesting.
I mean, these
Yeah.
are sort of like the blue zombies in Avacyn, where like these are ogres, which you've seen before in Magic, but they're kind of different.
Yeah.
A different type of ogre.
Yeah.
Like ogres would normally be red.
Here we go. We have a splice onto arcane card. Soulless Revival. For 1 and a black, it is an instant arcane. Return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand with a splice cost of 1 and a black. So it's the same splice cost. Also, any card with splice was also itself arcane, I believe.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. So you can for 1 blue black, you can draw a card and return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand and keep the Soulless Revival in hand.
I like that
Seems all right.
because there's no the fact that it's soulless. It's like you cast it and you're now casting a soulless creature, but that has no gameplay mechanic.
Yeah.
Soul is not tracked in Magic.
Yeah. Speaking more weird spirits, the Silent Chant Zubera. It is a creature Zubera spirit. I didn't realize Zubera was a subtype. It is a 1/2 for 1 and a white. When Silent Chant Zubera is put into a graveyard from play, you gain 2 life for each Zubera put into a graveyard from play this turn.
That seems ridiculous.
Well, it combos well with the next one, which is the Ember Fist Zubera, which is also a 1/2 for 1 and a red in this case. A creature Zubera spirit. When Ember Fist Zubera is put into a graveyard from play, it deals damage to target creature or player equal to the number of all Zubera put into all graveyards from play this turn.
I'm
So
sensing a
basically,
theme.
they reward you for wiping your board.
For wiping out all the Zubera. For reward you
so-
for genocide.
Yeah. Are there board wipers in Kamigawa?
I assume so. There's usually a wrath effect. Nizumi Cutthroat. Oh, this guy seems nice. He is a 2/1 for 1 and a black. He can't block, but that doesn't matter because you're going to be attacking with him anyway because he has fear.
Fears, of course, can only be blocked by black creatures, correct?
Black creatures or artifact creatures.
So it's like black Intimidate.
Well,
Yeah, it was
fear predates Intimidate because it used to only be like a thing
Black
that-
ability.
yeah, and then they changed. I don't believe they use fear anymore because like a cursed spirit in M14 just has
Intimidate.
which is creatures of the same color or artifact creatures.
It's interesting that they haven't oracled it.
Well, because it's functionally different. It is
Right.
only black creatures because you can grant fear to creatures to non-black creatures.
And,
So you can have a white creature with fear that can
Right.
only be blocked by black creatures.
And if
And
for
you
some
could-
reason the color of this card changed, it would still have fear.
yeah.
Yeah.
Moth Rider Samurai. Wow, that's a big moth.
I was gonna say the world's tiniest samurai or the biggest moth.
It's a very
Already
large.
dislike this card intensely.
It's a very big moth. It is a 2/2 for 3 and a
You're
white.
right on it, Paul. Up above the mountains.
It's a 2/2 flyer for 3 and a white with Bushido 1, which is when this blocks or becomes blocked, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. So it's a 2/2. It's a 2/2 flyer for 4. It's not amazing, but when it blocks or becomes blocked, it does so as a 3/3.
So you have to think twice about blocking it, because otherwise it'll trade up.
Right. Now was it Bushido was the one that they were wanting to bring back, but because of the wording was they're gonna have to come up with new wording for it, or was that a different one?
Which one?
I remember Mark Rosewater talking about that that he wanted to bring back one of the mechanics from Kamigawa, but because they're all Japanese specific names, all the mechanics in Kamigawa, that he couldn't. They couldn't just bring back.
I think it
one?
was Ninjutsu.
Oh, ninjutsu. Right, right.
Was one that they really liked, which was the if it attacks and isn't blocked, you can switch it for one from your hand, I think.
I guess
Yeah.
Bushido is basically sort of fixed Rampage in some ways,
Kinda, yeah. I mean, Rampage scaled depending on the number of blockers.
but it was way complicated.
Yeah.
Whereas this was
Blood Rites. 3 red for an enchantment. That says, for 1 and a red and sacrifice a creature, Blood Rites deals 2 damage to target creature or player. That seems fine. I mean, it's really expensive to land.
But it turns your Zuberas into.
oh yeah, and you just go
Ooh.
boom, blow up all your Zuberas in one turn.
Ooh, I like
and
that.
you have to have the mana to do it. But
There we
it's
go.
expensive,
Combo. I think I prefer Barrage of Expendables from M14. It lands for cheaper, it activates for cheaper. It does less damage, but I think it's
I don't know.
probably better.
One damage is so much less relevant than 2, though. Although in this set, there's a lot of 2/1s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think in general Kamigawa was a relatively low power set.
Yeah, I'm getting that from looking
Yeah.
at the like the biggest thing we've seen is a 3/2.
Yep. Well, here we go. Favorite of Commander, Ghostly Prison.
Oh, I love
Oh.
this card.
I hate this card.
It is an enchantment.
Interesting.
For-
this one, yeah.
2 and a white. Creatures can't attack you unless their controller pays 2 colorless for each creature attacking you. This in whatever way this is relevant, this has not been oracled to include planeswalkers you control, which is how they template that now. So they can still attack a planeswalker of yours without paying for it.
Right. Isn't this called a bribe effect?
Propaganda.
Propaganda.
Propaganda,
effect, yes.
yeah, because I assume there was a card called Propaganda that did that, yeah. Strange Inversion. 2 and a red for an instant arcane. Switch target creature's power and toughness until end of turn with a splice onto arcane cost of 1 and a red.
Oh, that's a great combat trick.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah, that could cause all sorts of shenanigans.
And I like that it's cheaper to splice than it is to cast.
However, you're still looking at a 3-mana combat trick.
Yes. Minimum, because to splice it, you of course have to cast something else, and the best you're going to get is a 1-mana thing. So,
and again, and I guess the trick is if you want to, like, this is an instant, but if you want it to actually be an instant, you would have to be splicing it onto another instant. Like you can splice it onto
the other
sorcery.
There are sorceries with arcane, like
right. So like if you wouldn't want to splice
Lava Spike,
you wouldn't want to splice this onto an sorcery with arcane. Then you would lose all the instant capability.
Yeah, but it's a great way to kill a defender. 05? Nope.
Yeah.
And we have a rare and a foil.
Ooh.
So let's do the rare first. The rare is the Imi statue. IMI. It is a 3-mana artifact. Players can't untap more than 1 artifact during their untap step. So
yeah.
I hear you like being on Mirrodin.
yeah. So that's exciting. And very nice. The foil is a Cage of Hands.
So they said Cage of Hams.
Cage of Hands.
Delicious hams.
Surrounded by ham. No, Cage of Hands is really good. It's a pacifism effect. It's 2 and a white for enchanted creature. Enchanted creature cannot attack or block. And bonus, for 1 and a white, return Cage of Hands to its owner's hand. So you play it on their guy. You play it on whatever guy. And then if they play a bigger threat, you bring it back and recast it.
Oh yeah, that's...
Or you play it on their guy and they sacrifice it to something, you can return it to your hand and play it on something else. Also, it's a pacifism effect, which is really good.
I love that the hands they're not like forming a cage. They're just basically surrounding the monster and poking him.
They're surrounding him with an eternal... I'm not touching you, can't get mad. I'm not touching you, can't get mad. I'm not touching you.
Just like,
so irritating.
I can't go anywhere.
Well,
I hate this.
This art style is very unique to the Kamigawa block as well. We see a lot of these with the spirit cards.
Yeah.
I think it reminds me a bit of the Shoal cycle.
Yeah. With like things floating around the creatures. And like the Silent Chant Zubera. I think it's a Zubera that's illustrated on Shining Shoal. Or is it Shining Shoal? Or What's the Glimmering Shoal? What's the white
Shell?
What's the white shoal?
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up. Do.
All right.
Do.
Well, Graham's looking that up. That was Kamigawa.
Do. What would you pick?
Oh,
Do.
Cage of Hands.
Yeah, I think it's got to be Cage of Hands.
Yeah.
Those are just good to have. Yeah, it is Shining Shoal. Yeah, definitely.
It's arrest, right?
No, because the activated abilities can still be activated.
Right, but it's the same kind of idea that arrest.
It's the same cost. It's really more comparable to pacifism. It's just more expensive,
and you can return
for the ability to be able to return it.
I mean, that's a basic though, because you don't feel bad about playing it early. Like you play it on some stupid 1/2 or 2/1, and then when it's outclassed, or can at least trade up with a Zubera, right?
Yeah.
Then you can play it on a massive 3/2, which was still the biggest creature we saw in this set.
The thing is, we take Cage of Hands, and then we pass left.
Get a little closer to the mic.
Taking Cage of Hands,
Yeah.
you pass a whole swack of white cards left, including
Ghostly
Prison,
Yeah.
which the person to your left takes.
Probably.
I would think.
Yeah, it's probably the
remove
next.
Cage of Hands.
Yeah.
For sure, Ghostly Prison would be my
Yeah.
pick.
I mean, I don't know much about the environment. I might take the Nezumi Cutthroat as an aggressive thing, but I mean, yeah, it's probably just Ghostly Prison.
Right, which means you get Goozled Pack 2.
That's
But-
not necessarily true, though. I mean,
I don't know. If I took Ghostly Prison, I'd be wanting to play it. I'd be trying to pick up more white.
I mean, but the thing is, like, you can usually have a couple people drafting the same color at a table.
And it is, and that is splashable. So.
And I'm not going to not take the best card because I don't want to get goozled pack 2.
It's such a great word.
That's when you hold somebody down and rub gooseberries into their face.
It's true though. Like that's something I'm bad at is signaling in that way. I mean, I think actually Marshall has talked about that. It's like signaling while good. It's definitely lower on the. It's if you're between two cards that you can't tell the difference, like you can't decide which one, then take signaling into account, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're still going to want the best card in the pack if you can get it.
I remember during Dark Ascension, when it was Dark Ascension, Innistrad was the draft format, and the way that you would draft the double face cards is that you'd have to show everyone at the table the double face cards that you opened.
Right.
At least I believe this was how it was supposed to be done. I don't know if everyone did that, but you would open it up, and because you couldn't hide them, you would just show everyone at the table, hey, this is what I got.
Right.
And there was a thing where people would open it, and if they got Soul Caesar, if they were the only one at the table, Soul Caesar was the only blue double face card, right? And they'd make a big point of like, I got Soul Caesar. That's my pick, right?
Right.
So because everyone can see when you pick a double face card, and they'd make a point of letting that be known to make a point. I'm in blue,
right?
So that the people on either side of them would try to not be in blue, and maybe that worked and maybe that didn't. But I know that it was one of the few instances where where you're allowed to make it known what color you're in.
All right.
So.
Anyway,
speaking of doing drafts and things like that, GP Calgary.
we went to a GP. Well,
Yeah.
Paul didn't go to a GP.
Yeah.
Heebie-jeebies.
Heebie-jeebies.
All right.
We spent the Saturday filming Friday nights, which you will see this coming Friday, I believe. I'm pretty sure we'll be able to get the podcast up before you see the episode. So we won't tell you about that. But we wanted to get all the shooting that we could done on Saturday so that Sunday we could actually play stuff. What did we do? Cam, what did you end up playing?
Well, I started off in the Sunday Super Series sealed event.
Ooh.
Get in there. We're telling Cam to get in there to get close to his mic.
Make friends with it.
Yes. Anyhow.
I started off in the Sunday Super Series sealed event.
Which is a good tongue twister.
Yeah.
Sunday Super Theory. Nice.
It was M14 sealed?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I wound up in a blue-green deck with Colonian Hydra and... No, sorry, not Colonian Hydra.
Oh.
The bad Hydra.
Oh. The Vastwood Hydra?
Yeah. Or the adequate Hydra,
Yeah.
I guess.
He's
and
fine.
Like...
If you met him in the forest, you would still be pretty scared of the Vastwood Hydra.
The meh wood hydra.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell that to his face, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't know. I ran into a lot of people who were perfectly comfortable talking about his inadequacies to his face in various ways. So I tied my first match, which just took forever, and won my second against like a Slivers deck, then lost my third, and then dropped to go and play in the next event.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was playing in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I also started the day playing in the Sunday Super Series sealed.
How many rounds did that event go?
Oh my god, it went all day. James saw the thing out to the end. I can't remember how many rounds it was.
He's played 8 rounds,
it was,
didn't he?
Was it 9 rounds?
Ugh.
I'd believe it.
I
Yeah.
feel
So many
tragic.
people
And
were
it started
playing
at what, like 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
Getting out of bed at 9 a.m. on day 2 of a GP. Even when we weren't actually playing in the event, we were still tired from all the work that we did on the Saturday. Was no mean feat. So yeah, I also played in the Super Series. I honestly can't remember what my deck was like. I think it had some slivers.
Yeah, like my deck was fine. It was capable of winning games, but it was definitely not something I was in love with or enjoyed playing terribly much.
Yeah.
So
I went. I won my first game. All right, sorry. I won my first match. Lost my second match, and then got a game loss for the first game of my third match because I was late because I'd gone back to the room to get the camera because I didn't realize there was so little time left in the round. And then I lost. Yeah. And so I think I played I can't remember if I played 3 or 4 rounds. I think I only played 3 rounds because I was more interested in an event that they were doing, which was the Twin Ravnica Block Japanese Sealed event, which is so it's a sealed event, is 6 packs, and so this was a pack each of Ravnica, Dissension, Guild Pact, Return to Ravnica, Gate Crash, Dragon's Maze, all in Japanese.
With visual spoilers.
Well, they had one.
And you could look them up on the internet.
Yes, thankfully. I was going to say, like, Cam, are you at all fluent in Japanese?
No, not so much.
No, neither am I.
Yeah.
Are you at all fluent in the cards in the original Ravnica block?
No, Cam?
No. I definitely have seen those pictures before somewhere.
Yeah.
They looked familiar.
The numbers in the corner looked about the
Yeah,
same.
I knew about casting costs and stuff. So there was a lot of liberal use of the Google Goggles app in the Google app on my phone. Because if you took a picture of the Japanese card, it returned the English result.
Right.
Which was really useful because they had 2 printouts of the thing. The black and white one was useless because you couldn't tell the colors easily enough, and the color one was getting co-opted by people further down the table. So I think you were mostly using your phone as well, right?
Yeah.
And sort of being like, they gave us half an hour for deck building because half the time was just trying to figure out what you had in your pool.
Like, was the fact that it was a Japanese draft, did that make it more attractive to you as opposed to the...
Yeah, it kind of did.
Yeah.
I that sounds like a fun format. I probably would have played that regardless because I love sealed, and just the spanning Ravnica block thing sounds awesome. But the fact that it was Japanese, I was like, that seems kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Even though you knew, obviously, the problems that you had would be the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't everybody have the same problems? Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Unless anybody spoke Japanese.
Well, no, like people who knew the original cards,
Right.
had an
If people who have
advantage.
played, like, I mean, I imagine for the second part of it, you were actually didn't have to look much up, right?
Yeah, I knew all the RTR block cards.
Definitely.
Yeah.
What I wound up doing was looking at my RTR block cards and kind of deciding what I was in, and then kind of filling in blanks from Ravnica block.
So, Cam, how did you do?
Poorly.
Well, what kind of deck did you build?
My first deck, I don't even remember. I think I was in...
It's like, I don't even know what cat deck I had. I couldn't read it.
I was in red, white, blue, which is Raka colors.
Ooh, nice.
I've decided to...
Nice. Raka.
And then that didn't wind up working so well, so I wound up going into good old Jund.
And that actually did work pretty okay.
Yeah, it worked better.
Yeah.
I think I wound up going 2 and 3 on the day.
Nice.
And did you win anything?
Yeah, I won 9 packs of M14 for some reason.
Yay!
Which seriously annoyed everyone else at the table because everyone else got paid out in return to original Ravnica block Japanese product, and then they ran out of that, so they're like, we'll give you equivalent value of M14.
Well, because what had happened was
when you have liked Ravnica
okay. So this is the thing.
Japanese,
It was a 64-player event. It was maximum 64, and if they had more people than that sign up, then it would have been like a lottery for who actually gets in. Only 19 people signed up, and I'm not sure if it was because it was in Japanese and they were like, I can't read the cards, so why bother, or if just there was too many people playing in other events. But only 19 people signed up. So originally the prizing was only going to be an M14. But at the end of it, they did the numbers when everyone turned in their records and realized we can actually do the prizing in Japanese original Ravnica and RTR cards.
just stuff that was originally slated for the actual
Yeah, that was originally slated
Sealed.
for use in the sealed.
right.
But that meant that all the M14 that was slated for prize support for the sealed could be used as prize support for...
To just extend the prizes.
Yeah, well, because Cam went 2 and 3, which is a negative record.
Yeah, so normally...
Typically, you don't get prizes for a negative record. But this, Cam went 2 and 3 and got 9 packs of M14.
Yeah.
Seems
So
decent.
Sweet.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. And you got some sort of money out of that, right?
Oh,
You got
yeah, I got an Archangel
Nice.
and a Scavenging Ooze and a new Chandra.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, so
Make-
you know, value.
Yeah.
How'd you do?
I actually did the best I've ever done in a live Magic event. I went 5-0.
Boom.
I was really, really, really proud of that.
So what kind of deck did you play?
I ended up with a white red. I mean, I guess in Ravnica you would call it Boros, but it was white, red, green. So Gruulos, like there was a little bit of green in there.
Brule.
Like boy, did I get good land draws. Like, because I didn't have any fixing, so I was just like, well, I guess I'm running 6 plains and 6 mountains and 5 forests, and that's just gonna have to do.
Mhm.
And I drew.
Somehow it just ended up the way you wanted.
I drew what I needed.
So what was your strategy when you were building your deck?
Punch them in the face. Well,
No.
okay. If you're ever in a position where you're doing twin block Ravnica sealed, Japanese or English, the new creatures are better and the older spells are better.
Because the balance has sort of shifted over time.
With some exceptions. I will say some all-stars for the games, and this is funny because it's an older creature, was the Scab Clan Charger from original Ravnica block, Skaab.
Oh, as in Scob?
The Scab Clan Charger. He is a 1/1 with trample for 2. But he has the original Gruul mechanic, which is Bloodthirst, which is, in his case, Bloodthirst 2, which is they come into play with a number of +1/+1 counters equal to their Bloodthirst number if your opponent was damaged that turn.
Mm-hmm.
Which is the mechanic that came back in
M12?
Yeah.
M12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
M12.
So he was basically always a 3/3 for 2. So that was really, really good. I have a photo I took of my deck. There we go.
No, it's the Scab Ruinator.
Did you say Scab Ruinator?
Nope.
No.
Scab Clan Charger.
Scab Clan Charger.
Maybe just try SCAB.
It's not SK?
Doesn't seem to be there.
I don't have a photo. I thought I took a photo. Oh, there it is.
There it is.
The Transguild Courier.
It is not a Scab.
No, that's
Nope.
the Charger.
Oh, that is Scab Clan Charger, and that's what I said. Scab Clan Mauler.
Mhm.
Oh.
Sorry, the Scab Clan Charger is from Gatecrash.
No, it's... Yeah.
But that is how you spell it. Yeah, and it's the...
It's Scab, not Scob.
Oh, it is Scab
One
Clan.
more down.
I'm
One
sorry.
more down.
Scab
That
Clan
one.
Mauler. There we
Yeah.
go. That's the guy. 1/1 with trample.
Because
Mhm.
the Scobs are from
Yeah. Innistrad.
Innistrad.
Yeah.
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 So Blood Rush is a total beating to play against.
Yep. So I had a good amount of 2-drops. I had a Gate Creeper Vine for some amount of fixing, a Wojak Halberdiers, a Gorehouse Rampager. Is that the 2-drop?
Yes.
Yeah.
Gorehouse Chainwalker?
Thank you.
Yeah,
The Chainwalker.
Chainwalker.
Thank you. The Boros Mastiff and the Azorius Arrestor and this guy. That was my 2-drop slot of creatures. I also had a Call of the Conclave, which is the 2 mana for a 3/3 Centaur token. I had a Mugging and a Swift Justice, and
You can post this on the forums, eh?
yes, I can do that.
So people can read it.
I tweeted these pictures, but they're all in Japanese. So there's a card that did amazing work for me at one point, which is called it's a red spell from the original block called Pyromatics, and it has the original Is It mechanic, which is Replicate, which is we were talking about Splice into Arcane earlier. This has similarities to it, but it's basically it has a casting cost and then a replicate cost, and you pay it for its casting cost, and when you cast it, you can also pay its replicate cost as many times as you want, and then you copy it that many times. So Pyromatics is 1 in a red to do 1 damage to a target creature or player, and its replicate cost is 1 in a red. So my opponent was in a situation where he had a leashed Grim Roustabout and didn't happen to have the regen mana up because I'd attacked and forced him to block with it and regenerate him. So he'd already used his regen. And there's a Thrall that I can't remember. It's a 1/1 that casts for an Orzhov mana with lifelink, 1/1 lifelink flyer from the original block.
Right.
It's a something Thrall.
Yeah.
I don't recall the name of it. But
Parasitic Thrall?
something like that, I think. Or is it Morning Thrall. Is that the one it
Maybe?
is?
Morning.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
I can see the art.
Point being, I had just enough mana to end of my turn, cast and replicate this twice, and kill his Roustabout and his Thrall and ping him for 1. And that actually sealed the game. It doesn't sound like it was a lot, but it stopped him from gaining life and took away his blockers. The Transguild Courier was a really solid guy. He is a 3/3 for 4. That's it. But it's colorless mana, which was really important in this deck. It's interesting. He has a gold border, and then the line within the gold border where they illustrate what color identity the card is also gold, because he does actually have rules text, which is Transguild Courier is all colors. So
you usually don't have to put that in.
Yeah, so he is white, blue, black, red, and green, but he casts for colorless mana, and he's a 3/3, which was really helpful. I got a Gideon, so that helped.
Yeah.
Not that he came down or did much work, but he was good.
He was pretty good in one game.
Oh yes,
I think.
yes.
Yeah.
Did he almost go off? I can't remember.
I don't know. Gideon was just like standing on top of me and like beating me and taking my lunch money.
Yeah.
It was kind of a flashback.
Yeah, Cam and I got paired, and it was.
And it's a great thing about
It was-
Planeswalkers.
yeah.
They don't necessarily have to do anything. Just them sitting on the field warps the game so much.
I'm not gonna claim responsibility. Gideon won that game.
Strong deck, well piloted.
Well, thank you. And then the two other fun things I had, friggin' Devouring Light is what they're talking about when they say that the older spells were stronger. This is really powerful. 1 white. Exile target attacking or blocking creature.
What's the remaining of the text?
Well, that's the thing. That right there, that's a great spell.
Yeah.
That's really good. But it also has Convoke, meaning you can, if you tap a creature when you cast it, you can cast it for either 1 colorless less or 1 colored mana of that creature's cost. So if you have 3 creatures, 2 of which are white, you can cast it for free. You can be tapped out, and they're like, I attack. And you're like, all right, tap these guys. Exile your attacking creature.
Yeah.
It's super good.
With shields down.
It's insane.
Seems these.
Yeah. And there's another creature, which I can't remember the name of it, but it's 3 mana for, I think, a 2/2. But if enchanted, it gets +2/+2 and trample and fire breathing. So that, with a Gift of Orzhova on it, makes it a 5/5 flying trample fire breathing lifelink,
blech.
which won me more than a few games.
Yeah.
Seems these.
And the other one is the Fencer's Mage Mark, is a enchantment from original Ravnica block, which is all the Mage Marks. We did this once when we opened up a pack of Ravnica. All the Mage Marks did things to all enchanted creatures.
Right.
So it was all enchanted creatures that you control get +1/+1 and first strike. So again, put that on the other guy, and it's like a Flamekin something. He made it into a 5/5 first strike trample fire breathe. It was really, the deck was insane.
So that
So
was
what-
exciting.
What'd you win for coming in for first?
18 packs of original Ravnica block.
Fancy.
So I got 5 of Ravnica, 5 of Guild Pact, 4 Dissension, and 4 Gate Crash. So 18 packs of Japanese Ravnica.
Did you get anything
multi
cool?
blocks. I got some neat stuff. I got some things I'll be able to use in commander decks. No one got really lucky with their pulls. No one at the table got like a foil Japanese Bob or anything.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone got any shock lands. I think one person got a shock land, but so I didn't get any like money, but I got a couple cool foils, and I got like some Japanese signets, which will be cool in my commander decks. So generally, I'm happy about that.
And it was an utterly unique experience.
Oh, it was nuts! It was totally unique. I'm really pleased I did it. What did you do on the Sunday, Kathleen?
Well, we're a little short on time, so I drafted twice. I did 2 pickup drafts. I went to the finals in the first one playing green black. That was very good, and then
you split that one, right?
I did because I wanted to go shoot B-roll and
do more drafts.
yeah, well, if I had time, but I was more concerned of just making sure we had B-roll and stuff on Sunday. So that was fun, and I won some packs for that. And then I
Nice.
went I went 2-1 in the second draft I did, playing white black life gain. I cracked an Archangel of Thune in my second pack, and then aggressively took life gain things like Child of Night and like Divine Favor, and punched face and made games go long. So I had a lot of fun.
Excellent.
Did you do a third draft later? Or
I did not.
I'm thinking of we did a Phantom Modern Master draft with our friend Gavin that I was thinking of.
So I had a lot of fun and met some nice people.
Yeah, and we got to hang out with Kenji, which was nice. He's a nice.
So
guy.
yeah, I mean, like we've talked about it before, I think, but this whole the thing with the GPs where you, even if you're not actually like interested in the actual GP itself, if you're interested in Magic, it's just like the most concentrated.
Yeah.
Like there's always something about to fire in terms of drafts or sealed or something. Some crazy format.
Even if we weren't doing an episode of Friday Nights there, I would have wanted to go. And I don't play standard. I don't have a standard deck. If we weren't shooting, I may have been tempted to try and put something together, just to play the main event sort of thing. But I would go to one of these just for the side events.
Yeah,
and the vendors and get cool foils for my commander deck and stuff like that.
Yeah, if a GP is near where you live, you should go to it.
yeah.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Did you actually end up getting some good foils and stuff for your?
Well, I got a bunch of. It's amazing because Rob Alexander was there, and a very very short perusal through pretty much any commander deck, and you will notice that most of your land are by Rob Alexander. you look him up on Gatherer, and he did all 10 of the original Ravnica Shock lands, a big swath, a big number of the original dual lands. And just he's done so many land, and so I was like, I have like 10 cards here. So I went and gave him some money and got him to sign some stuff, and I got a Tree Folk token from Arcade Post.
Nice.
He'll do like custom tokens and stuff, and so yeah, I got that, and it was neat.
Cool.
Also, they were selling foil Elvish Mystics for $7.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't it?
It's a common.
Yeah, but people want the foil version for their Highlander deck. So
Is it like a special foil?
No.
It doesn't have alternate art or anything.
No.
Wow.
just from M14.
Supply and demand.
We needed one for a prop, so we had to buy it and use it and return it. we told them we were going to do that. It's like, look, we just need it. Can we? Well, I'll pay you, but I'm going to return it. Is that okay? And he's like, yeah, all right, that's fine. Actually, big thanks to Sentry Box. I want to say, because they didn't have one, but they loaned us a bunch of other cards we needed. I just really want to say that real quick. Sentry Box Games, I want to say.
Just Sentry Box.
The
Sentry Box.
The Sentry Box. They're a game store in Calgary. It's where you would go when you were living in Calgary.
Yeah.
They were really, really big help, and they seem like they're a bunch of nice guys. So if you're in Calgary and you need a game store for F&M or whatever, do check them out.
You can do worse.
The only game store I've ever been in that had not one, but 2 copies of Delta Green on the shelves.
Ooh.
And I didn't buy it because I'm a scrub.
Yeah. Big scrubs.
Totally.
So, from these scrubs to you, thank you for listening. And we will talk to you next week on Tap Tap Concede.
Bye-bye.
Bye.